Hey Downtimers, today we're going to look at part 2 of the Bag O' Zombies video series. Step 3, Base Mods. In the top left panel you notice I'm using the hot glue gun to cover up the corrugation on the cardboard there. I just thought it'd be worth a little more showing of that. I didn't show that in the previous video on basing, and I just thought it'd be worth a panel here. On the right side you notice I'm using the hot glue gun and a stylus to texture in and move the hot glue in between the plastic zombie bases and on top of the large cardboard base. Really just to show kind of an aura and to give the base a little more texture. And you'll see later on how we paint this to make it look a little bit more like what I like to call an aura of pestilence, just to make the players a little more aware of the contagious and diseased characteristics of the monsters they're about to encounter. On the bottom left panel you notice I'm using my utility blade to cut, scrape, and damage the plastic zombie bases to give those a little more texture and a little more character. And I prefer to cut the zombie bases after I have them on the cardboard base because I just find it's a lot easier to hold them steady. Step 4, black bomb and paint prep. And here I'm taking some toothpicks. I'm going to cut off the ends of these and fit these in the stomachs of the zombies. You notice the stomachs are open. They have holes in the stomachs of these models, which is pretty neat. So you can use weapons if you have small like Lego swords or something like that, or a polearm or a spear or anything, and you can set those up so that they look like the zombie's been impaled or whatever by these weapons. So just as a quick little throw something together, make a little spike, I just use toothpicks a lot of times, and I just paint the bases of them. Then we'll paint the tips later on. We'll paint those red for blood. And you notice here I'm using the tweezers to pull off any excessive pieces of hot glue or whatever, just to get them ready for brush painting. Also, you notice I really do a thick black bomb on these guys because I really don't want to go back with a black paint and a brush and touch them up. I really just rather go ahead and put too much black bomb on them because it's okay if they shine a little bit. They're zombies, so they can shine a little bit. They'll be slimy. Step 5, painting. And here I'm using apple barrel paints. I don't use anything too expensive really on 10-cent zombies, but you'll notice I'm using brown, a royal blue I believe it is, or maybe navy blue, and in the top right panel you'll notice I'm starting to mix the black and white paints to make various shades of gray. And the reason why I'm starting with these colors is because I don't want anything too bright. Bottom right you notice I'm using folk art, cardinal red, and a lime green, and they're both a satin finish. Just because honestly I couldn't find a gloss that I like, and but satin is plenty glossy enough for what we need here. And in the bottom left panel you'll notice I'm using the lime green to coat the skin areas, like the head and the hands, and I'm also going to use that for like a slime effect in various places where you would see blood. Sometimes I'll use the cardinal red for the blood, and other times on other zombies I'll use the green slime. So it just depends on which one I want to do what with. And so you'll notice in order to get variance, in order to differentiate and get a lot of variety, I use mostly the duller colors like a dark blue, various shades of gray and browns, and I'll work with those colors to do different things like the clothes. You always want to paint the clothes first, so I paint the shoes, the pants, the shirts, paint all that first, and then I'll work on the blood areas and the green slime areas and the skin areas. One of them I might have some blue pants. The next one over I might not paint at all. I might just leave with the black. And the next one over I might have brown pants and a gray shirt, and the one with blue pants I might just leave the shirt black. So you get the idea. You just want to have a lot of variance in the dress, and between that and the varied forms that we worked on in the first video, and also the different things we can do with the slime and the blood all make for different looking zombies. Just something to keep in mind while you do the brush painting for sure. On the bottom right, you notice I'm putting in the blood, and I always put in the blood last. Between the blood and the slime is kind of a tie, but mostly blood is last. I'll put that on the back and on the front because obviously they all have holes in the middle of them where they're exposed. They have ribs showing and all that. And you really can't mess up with the blood. You really can't put enough. And the same goes with the lime green slime. You really can't mess up with that. So if you're new to painting miniatures, these are great. Probably one of the best miniatures you can start painting with because you really can't mess up too much. If you paint too much blue on pants, for example, you can just go back over the part where you went too far and just put some blood or some green slime. So super easy to paint and lots of fun too. Step 6, finishing touches. Okay, so on the left you notice I'm working with the toothpick tips to make the spikes sit inside the zombie miniatures by using some hot glue in order to set those more firmly in. On the right side I'm painting on the green slime aura using that lime green folk art paint. And I like using that as the main base color just to show the disease and that aura pestilence or whatever you want to call it. But you notice on the bases of the zombies themselves, the plastic bases, I will use splotches and splashes of blood or slime or just whatever I feel like. And on some zombies I'll have more blood showing than on others, and on ones right beside them in places where you expect to see a lot of blood, I'll have the green slime instead. So again, another way to show more variance. Now you'll notice I'm using the hot glue gun on the left here to put a little bit more slime, guts, whatever you want to call it. And here in a moment you'll see I'm going to pull away and get this wisp going. I'm going to pull the wisp pretty slowly so that it dries while I'm pulling it. And when it goes to room temperature, it becomes kind of thick, and you'll see it snap here in a moment. And when that happens, it makes it look like guts. So this is a technique I use in order, and you notice I'm pulling down and away so that it looks like guts are hanging out from the spike being in the stomach. So pretty gory, very, zombies are supposed to be, so pretty gory stuff. And of course, I'm gonna paint all that with the cardinal red to show blood, right? So the cardinal red, this satin finish, it shines pretty well and it does look like blood. So I'm going to finish those up after I'm done painting the bases and getting the finishing touches done with the slime and the blood, and making sure the weapons are set properly, and whichever zombies I want to have weapons in their stomachs, and make sure those are painted well. Pretty much done. I mean, if you like, you could use a varnish on these, I suppose, but with it being 100 and they're so cheap, I honestly probably won't even coat these with any kind of varnish. I might not, I don't know. It's not really, to me, it's not worth how much varnish I'd have to put on them to say they're coated. So I probably won't even bother with that. The satin shows up fine. It's enough gloss to it, so I don't really think I'd have to put a gloss varnish. If I were to put a varnish on these, it probably would be a pretty high gloss varnish, because you want these guys to be slimy and wet looking, and between the blood and the slime and the slimy, gross, wet skin or whatever, I would imagine that'd be a better way to go than a matte finish. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you got anything out of this at all, if you would, please give us a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and please leave comments below if you have any questions or would like to say anything about this project. And also, please feel free to share this video on Facebook and other social media. Thanks, guys.
No! Get away! Get away!
Please, no, don't do it, don't do it. Brains. Brains. Get away! Run! Get away! Get away! Brains. No! 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 Go! Get away! No! Brains. Thanks for watching, guys.